Welcome back, guys, here to the Next on Arena. We're in the midst of a Prime series here versus Samsung Galaxy Com, but this time, Prime has got it all tied up at the break. It's 1-1. Keen just winning that game versus Hurricane.
Yeah. Bit of an upset. You know, I always want to root for Keen, you know. He's just so inconsistent. He always has been, especially with his individual league results.
Oh, yeah.
But that was a great game. That was really well done. Very impressed.
I like the way you put it, actually. He was playing very free, playing very his style.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't trying to, study anyone else or do anything. He was playing like Keen. I just hope that he doesn't lose the next 7 games. Like, please, come out and actually do that again.
And on the last note for that game, I feel like Hurricane played pretty well also, especially in the late game there. He almost was able to turn that back around with his huge economy. Let's move on to this third game, though. YoDa, 4-0 versus Armani. That's a pretty impressive stat, actually.
Yeah.
A terrible record in Pro League overall compared to some of these other players. But, you know, I think he's got a pretty solid chance here. I think sending Armani out might have been a mistake.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting, especially coming out here on Coda. Usually a pretty good Terran map, especially against Zerg. We saw Sue ban this map out so many times in best of 5s versus any race, really. And Armani really doesn't see that much play at all. We've never seen him play versus a Terran in Pro League. Ever.
7 games ever. Very rarely do we see this guy. And actually, oftentimes when he comes out, he's like the 4th player, and he doesn't get to play for one reason or another, which is part of it. But he just doesn't have very much experience. You almost never see this guy do well in individual leagues. In fact, I can't remember the last time I cast him in one or saw him in one. It's been a while.
Yeah. To be honest, I voted for Armani here. You know, all things weighing against him. But the main reason I did that is because Prime has been on such a losing streak and they're so down. But after that Keen win, maybe that's going to spark some life into Prime here. He usually does. That's usually where Creator came in and he got that win. And he's like, hey, guys, we can do this. But maybe it was Keen's job today, and maybe YoDa will be able to continue the streak for Prime.
Yeah, YoDa, definitely not a bad player. Never count this guy out. It's honestly, to be real, I think it's unfortunate this guy's still on Prime. I think he had so much potential. If he were on Dinner, he could have been Maru. I'm just going to say it. I feel like he could have been if he were on a better team.
Well, guys, let's jump into the game regardless on Coda here for game number 3, YoDa versus Armani. Over here in the bottom right, in the purple, from Prime, our Terran player, it is YoDa.
And up to the top left in blue, the very rarely seen talented Zerg player for Samsung, it's Armani. YoDa is an IEM champion. Was one of the most successful players at the very beginning of Heart of the Swarm after release, along with his teammate at the time First. They were doing really well, and Incredible Miracle looked like they were going to be a powerhouse team going into Heart of the Swarm, just like they were in Wings of Liberty. They had the Legends, MVP, and Nestea. Even Happy, for those of you guys remember, IEM Happy was doing really well, getting a top 4 in Code S at the very end of Wings of Liberty. Like, IEM looked like, you know what, they are the best in Wings. They're going to be the best in Heart of the Swarm. They had this great new lineup of player. The lineup in Heart of the Swarm started to look more rounded as these players like YoDa were doing better. And then IEM fell off the map. They did poorly in Pro League last year. They still exist technically as a team. I hope nobody gets upset if I try to say they're disbanded. But they basically, the team exists, but there is no roster. They do not play in Pro League. I don't even know if they're officially KESPA sanctioned anymore. But YoDa was on their team for its collapse. It's one of their stronger players along with Ruin. And then he ended up on Prime, which is another one of the weaker teams that really struggles. It's just so unfortunate because I feel like in Heart of the Swarm especially, he had so much potential. He was such a good Terran. I mean, he still is, right? But he just never got to grow to that full potential that some of these other Terrans have evolved into, right?
I mean, do you remember YoDa from round 1 even of this season? He was looking pretty good. He was taking games off of Sue. I mean, granted, Sue wasn't playing the games of his life. And honestly, some, weak versus Mech Zerg play there, but he was playing good games and he looked good. And it was at a time where Prime wasn't the punching bag of this league. But I feel once that happens and they kind of gained that name for themselves and they had a terrible round where they didn't win a single game, and I feel like he kind of just lost his passion. Well, to be like totally straight up and like real, I think that's what happened to this guy.
I think that's kind of the attitude for Prime right now, and I actually hate talking like this because I feel like it's almost like unprofessional to say, but it's just the truth. There's no way to sugarcoat this anymore. If you want to look at any stats book, you want to look at any record of Prime's play in the last 2 years, it's not even a shadow. It's a memory of a shadow of what it once was in their earlier days, when they had like the Fantastic Four that won a lot. You know, Creator, Beyond, Maru, and Marine King. But that was a long time ago. Now here comes at first YoDa Reaper Scout. Does, force these links to micro, but no damage. Just kind of that early game dance that you see every game. He's really trying to force his way in here. Yeah. Almost gets a link.
Not going to commit, or rather overcommit here to too much harass. Just going to make one and then go for that reactor into the factory a bit faster.
Yeah, just a bit quick. You get some Marines out, and oftentimes when we see this one Reaper into 2 Marines, it's for Hellbats. And they use the 2 Marines to actually push the Overlords away and deny that scout. Can also be to push the Overlord away to get a fast 3rd CC. Absolutely possible. But the 2 Marines usually come out here to deny scouting. And of course, they're going to go up to the north of the base to do just that.
Yeah, good call there. We do see that 3rd CC on the way. We actually saw him pull pretty much entirely out of gas. He only left 1 SCV in there. Now he's going to restart mining gas after he gets that CC down. And with those Marines, he'll push away the scout, and he'll also make some Hellions to control the map. And he should be pretty safe here. I mean, this is a 2-player map of Coda, but don't expect Armani to do anything too aggressive.
He is taking 2 gases right now on just 2 base. As you can see, no extra queens. And no drone coming over the 3rd base. Of course, a Reaper would deny that right now. He could sort of push his way over there and take a 3rd if he had any plans to do it early. So definitely going for a more gas-oriented build. This is something that YoDa has already identified. Stim is on the way now for YoDa as well very quickly here. Wow, that's like super quick before he even gets a starport. He's still just working off with the 1 gas.
There's that lair here for Armani.
What do you think, man? Do you think it's going to be 2-base Mutas getting a bit more popular recently?
Yeah, I think that's probably what we'll see here. He's just being a little bit late on those last 2 gases in his main.
A roach?
Yeah, he's actually going to put that down here.
Did you see what that building was that he just canceled? I know I'm the one with the observing PC, but I wasn't able to click it fast enough.
No, I actually missed it.
It might have been a 3rd Evo chamber just to block
I
the
think
scout.
he's just trying to make a wall here. I mean, he already adds his 2 gases in the main as well. Just a little bit later.
I think this is going to be Nidus, actually, as it turns out, right?
It's a lot of gas, but he is getting that +1.
He could also just go for roach speed and do like a big attack with 1-1 or something. That would still just be so strange. The lair's almost finished. I think it could be roach speed and a Nidus. I mean, there's a lot of different possibilities. The Nidus, of course, can help him. It's 2 roach warrens. Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. He's just going for burrow movement first.
Yeah.
What? Okay, that's really
This is going to be a very technical build, like something we definitely do not see very often.
Super slow burrowed roaches.
This is why we're sitting here like, wait, what? You know, the timing on the gases was weird. He like cancels a building and...
Maybe he canceled a 2nd roach warren. Maybe he was thinking about doing double roach warren and decided that it wasn't affordable.
Yeah,
off
but
base.
This is like the gimmick build that Departure did against Hero of Protoss. Like, this is going to be very, very interesting. He's definitely looking to actually end this game pretty quickly.
Yeah. So, doesn't need Nidus for this, but he's going to need roach speed. He's going to show roaches to this Reaper. He's also going to show that super late 3rd base. And knows immediately Keen switches into Marauder production on that barracks for the Tech Lab. Stim is already done. The only thing he's really going to have to rely on here that he doesn't have is scans and or turrets. He does have E-bays already. Burrow and burrow movement almost done. This is a small roach force with slow roaches. They will regenerate a lot while they're underground, but if he's got the scans for it and this first force gets wiped, this is not going to work. Let's see how much damage he gets done, though. This is crazy.
Is he going to be looking to burrow underneath that army and just try to sneak by?
I think so.
Because YoDa, of course, is not going to expect this. And this is exactly what we're going to see, in fact.
He's got +1. And he's just going to try to pop up on these Marines, perhaps even. If he goes into the main base and harasses and splits his roaches, that would be pretty cool as well. This is a huge bio force that's about to have 1-1. It has stim. Okay, roaches are just going to sneak by. He doesn't see. Oh, he does see! He notices! And there's the scan, and there's the depot block. Shut down!
Oh, boy.
He needs another scan. He can start turrets right away as well now, just to make sure. There's a second scan.
Second scan coming down here. You know, these roaches may do a little bit of damage, but after all, is it really going to be worth it? He's cutting down on some of these SCVs. You notice YoDa sitting here at about 47, but I mean, he's continuously making only roaches. He's going to be committing pretty heavily to this, and he's even making a Hydra Den.
This is crazy. Well, he's going to have the upgrades for the Hydras to follow this up. Now, the third base did get forced to lift here for YoDa. And honestly, I think it's just time for some turrets. Okay, he's got a turret there. The main base is still turretless.
He missed his scan there at the natural. There are 3 roaches in the main. There are 2 blocking his third. YoDa's just like, oh, you're doing something weird. I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, because he knows that bio, especially with upgrades, combat shields, and medevacs, will wreck a roach composition. The reason being is because roaches deal a ton of damage per attack, but because they deal it so slowly, by the time their second attack hits, their third attack hits, the medevacs have already healed most of the damage. That's why bio is much better versus this comp, but he does have a lot of roaches here.
Does have a lot of roaches, but not directly in position right now. Do you see a focus there on the Queen, but it burrows. And a pretty decent concave here of roaches, and they do have good upgrades. They have 1-1.
So do the upgrades of this Terran army, though. He stims. Transfuse definitely helping this out. It's going to be a fairly even trade. YoDa is going to have to leave. Hydras come out, and he killed a lot of SCVs here in the main base, 5 of them, and the third base still isn't landed yet. And in fact, with those roaches burrow with that few units killing them at the third, the regen rate is even like making it take a long time to kill it.
Yeah, this is so strange, man. We never see this in like the highest level. Which is kind of interesting. You know, sometimes you get these low-level teams coming out here, even Armani, a guy we pretty rarely see. And we've never seen him play against Terran, actually, in a broadcasted match of Pro League. So there you go. I mean, this is, I guess, his style, what we're going to be seeing today, at least.
All these roaches in the main base here may not even still be cleaned up. Look at that micro. He's really individually microing his roaches to make sure he gets the most out of them. He's going to regen so fast.
Save 1. The cheeky guy.
Oh, man. Well, still 3 base to 3 base, but that third base for YoDa was so delayed. Yeah. I think the Hydralist push might actually just kill him here.
The thing about this kind of composition is I think you need to end it before it gets too late. You can't let YoDa get a gigantic bio ball because eventually he can just roll over Armani. This is not like the ideal composition. Usually you're going to want a lot of Banelings and Lings and some Mutas even, but this is...
He's making Widow Mines.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Widow Mines are like almost worse than Hellions in this case. Like, why isn't he trying to switch to siege tanks? He doesn't have the economy yet, I guess, with his third base being so late.
The mines are really not going to do anything.
He can just turn and fight this.
Yeah, he's going to do exactly that. There are a lot of roaches caught behind, actually. He's going to micro some of these roaches forward, trying to get the hits on the bio. But regardless, those Widow Mine hits are not efficient. And look at how much Zerg is left over.
This is game over. YoDa's going to lose to this. Few more Widow Mines coming up.
Man. What are we watching?
He's got Overseers. That second Widow Mine doesn't even go off. No bio left. YoDa is dead. 16 roaches on the way. He started to snowball. Can't believe he made Widow Mines versus this.
Yeah, I think he's just freaking out a bit. He doesn't know what to do against this kind of play. It's one of these games where you just never see this kind of strategy, and it ends up working because the Terran doesn't know how to deal with it. GG.
Well, Armani breaks the streak. He's now beaten YoDa. One of the craziest games we've ever seen. Definitely not, it's one of those games where I'm like, someone asked me, would you recommend telling people to go back and rewatch it? I'm like, yes and no.
Yeah, see it, or actually, this is one of the games that I would tell people about. I'd be like, did you know that Armani went Roach Hydra with a quick burrowed Roach harass?
Slow roaches with burrow movement.
The slow burrowed Roach harass. And all bases delay the mining at the third base. And then YoDa does not respond effectively.
You know, it's so difficult to spot burrowed roaches compared to spotting DTs, for example. And YoDa even spotted it at first. He saw the first movement. He was able to see that, and that's pretty impressive. But after that, he was not able to isolate and kill the rest of those roaches with scans.
Yeah.
And he was so hesitant to build turrets initially that by the time he had turrets, all the damage had been done. The roaches at the main base were never dealt with appropriately.
And also at the third base, like he had used all his scans at the naturals, so he couldn't actually get units over to the third base and scan and clean up all the roaches that were underneath